So, not gonna lie, up front I'm here to admit that I'm actually making this video solely because I need another video to do to finish off the speed paint I started in my creative block video. I struggled for weeks to think of a topic that went along with the original video I did, and I eventually settled on multitasking. It is another relationship you have with your hobbies, you could say. Not quite, but that is the best way I can think of to describe how this adheres to the topic of creative block. Firstly, I want to clarify that I am a multitasking pro. Just kidding. I can't call myself a pro multitasker, though I can confirm that I'm a pro procrastinator. It seems that I'm always either doing one of the two. Either I'm procrastinating, so doing none of my responsibilities at any given time, or I'm multitasking, aka doing all of my responsibilities at once. I'm rarely ever focusing on only one thing at a time. I'm not sure what that means, but it probably isn't good. Do you relate? So, multitasking. It's obviously more ideal than procrastinating. It can either overwhelm you and stress you out, or can help you get things done more efficiently. It really all depends on how you go about it. In order to properly multitask, you have to find the correct pairing of activities. If I could summarize the advice I give in this video, that's what I'd say. The key to properly multitasking is to learn what activities can be correctly paired to make the most efficient combination. I hope people quote me on that one day and hang it on their walls and such. That sure would be cool. I'll start with the best multitasking pairing that I use, and then I'll end with multitasking pairings you should never use, or at least ones that it's not a good idea to use. Keep in mind that my main hobbies include reading, writing, drawing, and the like, though I also do very humanly things like homework, driving, eating, chores, etc. My pairings include those items. First off, the absolute best pairing, drawing while listening to audiobooks. Please, I beg this of you, never ever 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 draw to silence. Unless you have to in order to focus on your art, please don't. Drawing doesn't take too much brain power, so you should really make good use of your time and listen to something while drawing. If you're going for just a chill drawing session where you can let your mind wander, then I would recommend listening to music. You can easily focus on the music and enjoy it while also being able to draw correctly and thinking about whatever you want to think about, whether that be relationships or your dog or what you want to eat for dinner. I'm not sure what goes on in your head, but if you're like me, you probably sit around thinking a lot. Ever heard the term shower thoughts? They're basically the complete randomness you think of when in the shower, since that's a mindless task you don't really need to focus on, so your mind often wanders. Well, you can have them while drawing too, though I guess they'd be considered drawing thoughts. Doesn't have such a nice ring to it, does it? It's still just as fun though, and technically multitasking. Ha! If you draw, listen to music, and think all at the same time, is it not triple tasking? If you do this, be proud of yourself. It sounds like quite a feat, but it's not really. It's actually easier than most multitasking activities. If you're not wanting a peaceful, mindless drawing session, or you simply don't care what you do while drawing, then I recommend listening to something with words while you draw. This could be a podcast or a YouTube video, but better yet, an audiobook. Seriously, I started doing this, and it's awesome. That's why I'm begging you all to do it. I will admit that I do feel a bit off afterward due to all the electronics being shoved at my senses, but it's worth it because I can get a lot done. It's not exactly a headache, so no pain is involved. It's almost just like electronic overload. I have no idea how to describe it, but it will usually go away after an hour of taking a break, so I usually work on projects and then take a break for dinner. If you do struggle with feeling a bit off after doing the same task for too long, make sure to take lots of breaks. Don't let the audiobooks make you lose track of time, because sometimes it can be a little too much for our brains in the moment to be paying attention to multiple different electronics. Hey, I actually get this if I read for too long, and that's not an electronic thing. So seriously, make sure that multitasking doesn't cause you to lose track of time to the point you tire your brain. Anyway, back on subject. As someone who struggles to do art because of how time-consuming it is, listening to audiobooks while drawing has really paid off. Just make sure to balance it out so that you're not sitting there for more than an hour listening and drawing. Keep in mind that you can listen to audiobooks not just while drawing digitally, but while drawing on paper too. Speaking of audiobooks, you can really listen to them with any mindless task. Listening to audiobooks while doing chores is another good use of your time. whether that be doing the dishes or clearing the table or picking up the floor of your room or organizing your closet. Audiobooks can go along with practically any chore. Music and podcasts too, but I'm specifically pushing for audiobooks because as someone who loves to read, I feel like I am most benefited from listening to audiobooks while I work. It's the most productive of the three. You can also listen to audiobooks while you drive, and a lot of people do. Of course, only listen to them if you are sure you can pay attention to the road while listening. If audiobooks will distract you while driving, then obviously don't listen to them. They're even useful if you're a passenger in the car, so you're on a long road trip but aren't the one driving. Listening to audiobooks can be nice. That way you can still get the peace of looking out your window while also doing something. A lot of families listen to them in the car together, but you can put on your headphones and listen to one on your own if nobody feels like focusing on a book in that moment. Though at the same time, I know that with siblings, it can be too loud in the car to be able to focus on an audiobook. Audiobooks are the best way to multitask, but not the only way. I would recommend listening to instrumental music while doing homework. Personally, lyrical music distracts me, so I can't listen to it while doing homework. But instrumental music, without the words, it really has its benefits. It helps me to focus more on my task by shutting out the world around me, but it itself does not distract me. It also helps me feel a bit more at peace, and again, therefore in a better mindset to do homework. The same goes for when you're writing. Listening to instrumental music can be really nice. There can be some bad multitasking pairings though, and I'll name a few so that they can be avoided. Before I do though, what makes them bad? Well, they'll both distract you from the other activity you're multitasking until you end up getting nothing done. Here's some to avoid. Firstly, texting and driving. Obviously. This one is just a joke because I think everyone watching knows that. When driving, stick with doing tasks that involve your phone in order to work, but don't require you to be on your phone while doing that task. Bluetooth is a really nice thing to use in the car. Even if you're like me and have an old car without a built-in Bluetooth system, you can actually buy external gadgets at the store that can plug into your car and allow you to sync your phone with the car using Bluetooth. Just only at your own risk. Anything that really involves reading or writing language should never be paired with listening to words. That's too many words, and it makes it easy for your mind to mix things up or get distracted. This includes reading while listening to lyrical music, reading with audiobooks. I hope nobody does that unless you're listening to the audiobook of the book you're reading. Other than that, it just doesn't work. Also, writing with audiobooks, doing homework while listening to audiobooks, among others. Definitely any pairing of the scenarios listed isn't ideal. At least for me, they just don't work. I don't know how they could work for anyone, but if they work for you, well then, congratulations. In the end, it's honestly all about what works for you. Think of the things you enjoy and try doing multiple at the same time. If it helps you work more efficiently, then great. If it hinders you, well, stop doing it. I assume your hobbies are similar to mine if you enjoy watching my channel, but they might not be. You could have some hobbies and do some things in your life that aren't mentioned here. You'll want to experiment with those on your own. Before I finish the video, I want to clarify that there is a huge difference between being distracted by every little thing and true multitasking. We live in a world where seemingly every little thing distracts us, ads namely, but also texting, social media, etc. It's not great. If we're getting distracted by many different things all at once, that's not beneficial multitasking because you're not ending up getting anything done. Multitasking only works if you're doing multiple activities simultaneously while remaining productive. Make sure that you're still getting things done while multitasking. If not, you should try rethinking your pairings. I'm also going to say it again, I am nowhere close to an expert on multitasking. These are only my personal suggestions due to personal experiences. They might not work for everyone. I recently started listening to audiobooks while doing nearly everything because of Spotify's new deal where you get 15 hours of listening time a month for free if you have premium. Doing that got me to thinking about multitasking, and that's why I ended up producing this video. I did zero research before making this because it's all based on my personal experience. Take this video with a grain of salt. If my suggestions help, that's great. If you think this video is stupid, well, honestly, also great. And it would probably make me laugh and agree with you because it probably is a stupid video. To be honest though, it was fun to make, and I don't think any of my advice is damaging, just possibly not useful for some people. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I regularly make reading, writing, and drawing related videos. I generally stick to those 3 subjects, but it'll probably look like I post a wide variety of videos on my channel. Take it or leave it, I don't care much. Haha. If you do stick around though, cheers to you, and thank you so much for considering subscribing. Also, thank you for bothering to watch this entire video. Practically a ramble here at the ending. Well, before I say anything else weird, bye!
You